Hey there friend, Zach here. As you can see, this is a bit of a new setup right here. I actually have this green screen right behind me and I'm excited to be utilizing this more in my future videos, so definitely be sure and look out for it. But anyway, I kind of wanted to just make this video giving my input on Nintendo's E3 Direct. As you know, it just happened on Tuesday. If you have not watched it yet, I recommend you go and check it out. I will actually have a link to it down below in the description. I want you to go ahead and watch that before you watch this video because I'm basically going to be covering everything that was in that direct. If you're coming into this video blind, I don't want you to watch this. I want you to experience it all for yourself over at the Nintendo Direct first. And then you can always come back, you're always welcome. So yeah, Nintendo's E3 Direct, they won E3. So I will say that my opinion of this year's E3 was kind of, I didn't really enjoy most of the press conferences. I thought most of them were actually kind of boring. Xbox's, for example, was mainly filled with just cinematic trailers of games, and that's great and all, but we all want to see gameplay. But Nintendo, they had that in spades. First, when they started off, they opened up the Nintendo Direct with the introduction of a new Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC fighter, which was a hero from the Dragon Quest series. Now, I've never really played any Dragon Quest games, but I definitely heard that they're very good. I really want to give the series a try, and with Dragon Quest 11S, I feel like that's going to be a really good starting point. Then we started off with a cute little sketch with Doug Bowser and, Bowser, just kind of the intro of the Nintendo Direct. They showed off games such as Luigis Mansion 3, which looks really fun. I really enjoyed the original Luigi's Mansion for the Nintendo GameCube, and I kind of enjoyed Luigi's Mansion 2 for the Nintendo 3DS. Wasn't a huge fan of it. I really liked the original Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube more than 2. But 3 looks really fun. I'm excited to give it a try. They showed off Animal Crossing New Horizons, which looks absolutely beautiful. They ended up admitting that they were going to take a little longer on the game. It's going to be released in March of next year, and I'm perfectly fine with that. My opinion on game delays is kind of the same as Shigeru Miyamoto's. I'd rather a game be delayed and good when it comes out than it be rushed and, bad when it comes out, basically. So yeah, they showed off Animal Crossing New Horizons. Let's see. They also showed off a few other games such as Daemon X Machina, which looks good. I've never been a huge fan of mech fighters, but it does look pretty fun from what I've seen. They showed off a few other games coming to the Switch. One of the biggest ones was the Spyro Reignited trilogy, which I'm very excited for because personally, I really don't own a PlayStation, so I never had the chance to actually experience the game. That was the same exact experience for me when Crash Bandicoot The Insane Trilogy came out. I couldn't really experience it because I didn't have a PlayStation at the time, but now that it's on the Switch, I can play it there and have a great time as if I were playing it on the PlayStation. And then they showed off the second Smash Bros. Fighter, which was Banjo-Kazooie. Now, I thought during the presentation they were only going to show one, and that was the hero from Dragon Quest. But I feel like Sakurai had a trick up his sleeve with that one. That is a character that a lot of fans in Japan had wanted and requested, and he gave it to him. Then he kind of switched over to the Western audience, and he knew that the majority of them really wanted Banjo and Kazooie in Smash, and he went ahead and added them. So he pleased both audiences in one direct, which was awesome. The hero is going to be coming out this summer, while Banjo and Kazooie are actually going to be coming out in the fall. Now, I actually have the Fighter's Pass, so I don't have to worry about purchasing them in the future, but I'm super excited for that. But one of the biggest games that I saw, and what I'm going to be talking about in this video a little more, is Breath of the Wild 2. My goodness, where do I begin? I knew that they were working on a new Breath of the Wild style Zelda game, and I really had high expectations for it, but when I had heard that they were now working on it, I didn't think they were going to show it to us for a while. But the fact that they showed it to us in this E3 Direct just blew my mind. I was not expecting it at all, especially since we were seeing more gameplay of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, the remake on the Switch. So yeah, Breath of the Wild 2, super excited. There's a few things I'd like to see in Breath of the Wild 2 compared to the Breath of the Wild 1. Like more towns, more NPCs, more villains, more bosses, stuff like that, just to please the crowd. I think that this game has a lot of potential, and I'm really excited to see where they're going to go with the direction of this game. From the way it looks, Hyrule is going to pretty much stay the same in terms of landscape, that is. So I want to go into this game a little bit more. So first off, the landscape of Hyrule I feel like is going to be the same. Since this is going to be a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild, the landscape of Hyrule itself I feel like can't really change. Depending, I mean, I guess we'll have to see more on when the game is talked about a little more in depth, probably next year. Keeping Hyrule the same, if this game is taking place in a short time span after the first game, would make more sense. However, I would like to see more towns in Breath of the Wild 2. That is one thing I think that Breath of the Wild 1 was missing a decent amount of, was the number of towns in the game. I was a huge fan of how open Breath of the Wild was, but still I would have liked to see a little more in terms of where I could go explore. So more towns I feel like is one thing I would really like to see. Another thing I would really like to see in Breath of the Wild 2 is the ability to play as Zelda. The story would probably be the same as if you were playing as Link, but just giving you an option to play as Zelda just sounds really cool. And customization would be essential, just like it is with Link. So that's another thing I would like to see. I think the third thing I would like to see is just maybe more races. I know we had the Gerudo obviously was one of them. You had the Zoras, which was another, and you had the bird guys, I can't remember their names, and maybe just a few more. I want to go back to Breath of the Wild 1, where if you remember actually in the beginning of the game, it was 100 years and then Link woke up, and Hyrule was on the brink of war. However, once you collected all of Link's memories in Breath of the Wild, you would unlock the true ending. So once you went and beat Calamity Ganon again, which was the final boss, you would get the true ending. Which, in that ending, Zelda is basically talking to Link saying, hey, let's rebuild Hyrule and just see what we can make out of it. So, you know, just to see how Hyrule changes over the course of so many years between the first game and this new game coming out sounds really exciting. So yeah, that's one thing I would like to see in Breath of the Wild 2. Maybe just a few changes to the race, new towns, etc. And that is going to do it for this week's video. I basically just kind of wanted to go over what I thought of the Nintendo E3 Direct. I thought it was great overall compared to the other Nintendo Directs. I'm super excited to see what the future holds for these games that they reveal, and it's an exciting time to be a gamer, as always. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next week. Take care.